Hey people, Strawberin0 here. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming with SsethTzeentach. As some of you may know, I have been experimenting a little with my reactions past couple of weeks, but I mean it's pretty obvious that y'all want me to react to Seth's videos because I don't blame you because they are fucking hilarious. So here we are back with Elden Ring review, Dark Souls 4 Dung Eater edition. This is and probably will be forever like the most modern Seth review because I remember he uploaded it when Elden Ring was still hot. I mean, Elden Ring is still hot today, if you know what I'm saying. But he dropped this video like a week or two after it released, which is very unlike Seth if you follow his channel and his content. And the other I remember is that he abused some stupid shit that got patched out, probably partially because of him. So let's see what he had to say about Elden Ring.
Hey people, Seth here. The following is highly experimental and may come off as disjointed or schizophrenic. I don't care. Elden Ring, the newest hot release by Hideo Miyazaki of Ghibli Studios, famous for classic animations such as Howl's Moving Mausoleum and My Invader Totoro. From Software have really outdone themselves, as this game features not one, but two crustaceans, possibly even more. Unfortunately, I haven't unlocked the ability to swim, so
The crabs are for some reason one of the hardest fucking enemies to actually fight without ranged combat. It's not so bad in Elden Ring because of the open fields, but god damn, the swamps in Dark Souls 3 were a fucking pain because of the crabs, man.
I cannot confirm
Getting
or
invaded
deny
in the swamp was a
I
fucking nightmare.
His name? Some boo-boo. His class, naturally, is wretched. I did originally consider prisoner, but I chose not to. I take the key as my starting item, and live to regret it after I get immediate access to a side dungeon and get run over repeatedly by a speeding
he didn't
train.
mention that you can actually enter a poison swamp like 15 minutes after starting the game.
Instead, to go the other way. After camping a few times, Melina comes by and offers me an accord. I turn it down because I think it's funny. I then proceed to kill Morgott and Godric before I realize I haven't leveled up. How was I supposed to know I had to say yes? Miyazaki, just because I'm offered the ability to talk to a woman doesn't mean I'm going to take it. I think that's a symptom of bad design. Conversely, I fell for the oldest trick in the book, the warm embrace of a woman's life, only to find out 100 hours later, it's actually a debuff. What did they mean by this? I guess I'll have to consult a 40-minute lore video to figure out the true symbology behind this item description. I tell you, passive storytelling at its very best, especially when half of characters either disappear, die, or start T-posing during your playthrough. This might bother people. People who believe there's a story, which is the equivalent of finding a bunch of random notes and thinking to yourself, damn, that book was wild. Halo's plot is crazy. Have you not read all the secret terminals? On the bright side, Dark Souls lore channels now have a steady source of bread for the next 4 years.
Oh yeah.
You'll know every side character better.
And with the coming DLC, you can stretch it out to like 5 or 6 easily.
Than your own family. I don't remember which war Granddad was fighting, but I do know Patches. I know that, canonically, he is circumcised. Honestly, I don't judge. I still get to have my wife Ronnie. What I'm criticizing is the involvement of this fat fuck. Celebrated offer. Helping to weave the narrative experience? Okay, let's see what this dude wrote. Sunset found her squatting in the grass, groaning. Every stool was looser than the one before and smelled fouler. By the time the moon came up, she was shitting brown water. The more she drank, the more she shat. But the more she shat, the thirstier she grew, and her thirst sent her crawling to the stream to suck up more water. I rest my case. J.R.R. Martin is the greatest author who has ever lived. He has also never finished his books. And so, fittingly, From Software has embodied the spirit of J.R.R. Martin by never finishing a single quest line. Elden Ring is an ambitious platformer, and if you disagree, you haven't played the game, because half this game is jumping with a head start, or falling into a hole,
some
into
of the
a
fucking
canyon
jumps
into a place
are
you originally wanted
in
to, but
Elden
accidentally
Ring.
jumped before doing so, adding an extra foot to the height of your fall, which turned it into a lethal descent. There's nothing I love more than jumping awkwardly off rooftops. But how do we spice it up? Archers. You love archers. They're on
The ability to jump, just adding that single button, completely changed the formula, because it's basically Dark Souls with open world and more Dark Souls dungeons. The ability to jump added so fucking much to this game. It's crazy. You go through Dark Souls, even Demon Souls. You go through Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and you are like, Bloodborne, sure, throw it on there. And you are like, damn, this exploration is so fucking excellent. They cannot pick this. What are they going to do for the next game? They just added jumping, and the options got multiplied by so goddamn much, they are basically limitless now.
Every roof, and they've got tracking. And guess what? The sewer levels are back. And this time, they're essential to the plot. Yeah, I'm thinking game of the year. Calling them out in your game, Torrent.
I mean... Okay, Dark Souls 1 didn't actually have a essential sewer level, because you could skip it with the key. But if you didn't pick the master key, there was an essential sewer level in Dark Souls 1, so, you know.
Absolute genius. So anybody Googling Elden Ring Torrent gets a bunch of horse pictures instead. I can't wait.
I think also Bloodborne had a mandatory sewer section. I don't remember if Dark Souls 3 had one.
Until Elden Ring 2 features the popular...
I didn't finish Elden Ring, so I don't know if the sewer levels are actually mandatory. Because I played around with so many different things at the start that I got really bored after beating like half of the game. I will at some point, probably before the DLC, start a completely new fresh character and finally push myself like through all of the game. Because I was trying co-op, PvP, different builds, fucking magic, dual wielding swords, using shields, using different things. I was experimenting with what the game offers you at the start so goddamn much that if I put that in a single playthrough, I would beat the game probably twice over. It's a really open game, and I love it. And I love that about Elden Ring.
Codex de Novo pre-cracked no virus. But why are we here?
Oh, dude. Oh, wait, I gotta take another screenshot.
We're here for the difficulty because we're hardcore gamers. Take it from me. I've already beaten the final boss, John Elden Ring, so I can give a few pointers. Have you ever used a weapon, armor, fast travel, potions, or opened the world map?
Oh, you're playing the game wrong, man.
You're playing the game wrong. This game is meant to be played level 1 as a wretch, using a single club.
Just as Miyazaki intended.
I'll call you a casual. If you ever hear someone talking like this, take pity on them, because this behavior is characteristic of someone who stacks no paper and gets no bitches. This game isn't hard, not because it's not hard, but because video games fundamentally aren't hard. You know what's hard? The circumstances of life, getting a degree, having a stable family.
Criticizing someone for the way they play Soulsborne games is the most
stunted mini child
stupid
arm,
thing ever.
Growing at like 3 years of age, so you're this freakish monstrosity. You'll be known around.
Making joke about, you know, Dex users or magic casters or whatever, that's fine. But taking it seriously and like insulting someone 100% unironically because they played with a katana, come on, man, just grow up.
Known as Baby Arm Man, and the only job you'll ever have.
Also, to the people who lose PvP fights to like
get a kid to pose for that. It's a lot more
meta weapons and then proceed to whine
standby. Furthermore, I genuinely believe that pattern
katanas are too overpowered or something. That's just a skill issue, dude. If there was a significant skill gap between you and your opponent, he would not win the fight with you. No matter what weapons he was using, man. That's just a skill issue and it's completely on you.
recognition is a form of cheating. Your Homo sapiens brain is literally destroying the difficulty of the experience by compensatory adaptation. I hope that people consider this in the future and later learn to recognize that the truest From Software experience would be a lobotomite run, where prior to playing, we perform a frontal lobotomy and sever your prefrontal cortex. Sometimes, the only option you have to preserve the purity of your experience is brain damage. Multiplayer enhances the experience. Sometimes you'll see white phantoms briefly appear. These are players from other worlds going through their own journey. Once, I saw
love
a white
that
phantom
feature.
appear, teabagging a dead NPC. In this moment, I knew I was playing a masterpiece. Messages and appraisal are exactly how Reddit users believe karma works. You upvote, and you get actual physical nourishment from the karma. Oh look, a message on the floor. Maybe someone out there will tell me something useful. Then you open it and read it, only to see dog butthole, closely followed by Fortnite. According to a true story, once upon a time, Miyazaki's car broke down in the middle of a road. This was during winter, so no help was to be found, when suddenly 3 strangers appeared out of nowhere, sucked him off, and left without even saying a word. And that's how Miyazaki got the inspiration for Souls multiplayer. Gameplay, flawless, stunning, effervescent. Just like Bloodborne was a complex allegory for sexually transmitted HIV, Elden Ring is a rich synesthesia between seeing Swampland and remembering Blighttown or hearing Leyendell long after you've left the capital, because my ears are still ringing from the sound of those fucking trumpets. Actual real critique. No jokes, no giggles. I think every boss should have a steak of Marika outside the boss room. Generally, this is true.
True. Steaks of Marika are such a good fucking idea. They are such a great addition to the genre. Oh my god.
As part of a boss fight. Now, the walks are more generous than any other Souls game, but just because somebody chose to take a smaller shit in my rice doesn't change the fact that it's still there. Inside my bowl, steaming up my Tupperware. I would also have originally said that the death screen is quite long, but then I realized it's working as intended. You see, when you die in PvP, you have no option but to watch helplessly as someone spams point down and repeatedly defiles your dead body. My complaints are pretty mild. If, like me, you didn't realize Vigor has a non-linear scaling, it would have helped immensely to know that going 10 to 20 makes no tangible difference, but 20 to 40 is all the difference between taking a blow and getting one-tapped by most of the game. I wish I knew that at the start. Luckily, this game is very generous with its ability to reroll your character.
That's
if
also
you're still paranoid, you can back up your save at no risk. I've done this more than 100 times without issue and recommend you do the same, because despite what anybody says, there's a million ways to brick your save. I've done it, I can reproduce it, it's still there. Also, easy anti-cheat is a very good anti-cheat because it's very easy to turn off. My friend may have done exactly that and more. Tell me, Seth, was he punished? Is he banned? No. Some of the later fights have
every game that has easy anti-cheat has problems with cheaters. I believe, I think that Dead by Daylight runs on easy anti-cheat. I'm not sure, but that game has a big fucking problem with cheaters, man.
Hitboxes. Not like I care. I cheesed through that shit. This game makes you realize the
Hold on. Damn, someone called me from an unknown number. Scary shit.
Companion you'll ever have is yourself. So why not make a copy? More before continuing.
The mimic tier got nerfed to shit, I think.
In the game. Dung Eater, loathsome Dung Eater, ferocious feaster of feces, devious doo-doo devourer. Dung Eater consumes excrement, feces, shit even, nihilistic, and with a wicked sense of humor. His greatest desire is to eat the poo-poo, and of course murder you and defile your dead body.
Yes, a very morally complex character.
We're not yet ready for that conversation. Builds. There's many builds. Strength is terrible until you realize you can power stance through the entire game and block everything else with barricade shield for 0 stamina. Going strength, unfortunately, puts you at the highest risk group for naming yourself the Black Swordsman and cosplaying as your favorite slice of life anime. If I see you doing this, I'll summon you intentionally so I can kick you from my world. Dexterity.
That's a nice image to pause on. The variety of builds in Elden Ring is awesome. I am so glad they brought back power stancing, the only feature of Dark Souls 2 that I missed. Other than bonfire aesthetics, maybe.
Parody. Do you enjoy katanas? How about double katanas, each one longer than the last, using realistic, historically accurate sword techniques from feudal era Japan? What about epic PvP compilations? Say no more. Get a River of Blood today. Intelligence. Some would say a
River of Blood,
of their enjoyment comes from
sure
learning
also
the
got
moveset of
nerfed
every
by
boss.
now.
A rhythmic dance between sword, swipe, and parry. A lethal symphony. Silenced only by death. Others would disagree. I'm confident that if you ask any player running sorcery what's their favorite boss, they'll recoil in surprise and say, I don't know any. I just sit at the back and spam Azure Comet. Faith. Incantations are very good. Abusing the animation of Catch Flame to cast them instantaneously
this get patched
is even better.
though,
And before
but
you say it, I know. It's working exactly as intended. You know what else is intended? This. Also, this. And this. My greatest enjoyment of this game. Beyond the
wait a
exploration,
second.
the richness of the graphics
go back.
exactly as intended. You know what else is intended? This.
This got actually patched before I played the game, so I'm not sure what this is. This is Carrion Retaliation, where you, use the Wraith Calling Bell and parry it with a shield to spawn those blades, and they dealt crazy amounts of damage because the developers didn't expect anybody to be catching so many spells with this Art of War, so Carrion Retaliation was insane. It also got nerfed to the ground. I mean, it still deals decent damage. It's just like 3 times less than Seth was doing it.
And this. My intended. You know
that?
what else is intended? This. Also, this. And this.
I'm not sure what this one is
My
either.
greatest enjoyment of this game, beyond the exploration, the richness of the
But
graphics, and the
the
scale of the world they made, has been abusing every mechanic I possibly can before it gets patched out. And so, inevitably, I have taken to
the different exploits were
abusing other players.
crazy.
You might call them humans. I call them people who use Moonveil unironically, and thus I feel no remorse for any of my actions. In summary, Elden Ring attracts many different responses.
I
Some
kinda
promote the
feel
long
that people treat PvP in those games way too seriously. If you are doing fight clubs and you are in a Discord where you're trying to find like the best builds, and you actually compete with each other to, be better and better at the game, that's fine. But if you invade somebody, don't expect them to play by fucking Fight Club rules or whatever. It's so annoying when people moan and whine that somebody used an overpowered weapon to kill them while defending themselves from a fucking invader. The host of the world can use anything at his disposal against you, and you shouldn't be whining. The only quote-unquote whining that I can stand is obviously against cheaters, because if you are using cheats and you are still online, fuck you, man.
By the universe. You can't be bad at video games, as video games are merely a subject matter. No, that is a deficit in your cognitive ability, something that likely plagues you in every aspect of your life. In summary, if you're bad at video games, you're bad at life. You've got a smooth brain and a low IQ. Your fate is to be a grunt in the New World Order. And then there's others, like me,
Obviously,
who are quietly waking up to the fact that maybe we should have never dropped those bombs to begin with. I guess what I'm trying to say is Elden Scrolls 10 out of 10, garbage. I love it. As always, more content.
It's a great game and you should play it in a way that you enjoy.
Multiplayer, password Fug Hunt goes in all fields. First 50 to invade get a 15% off their first month.
I wonder if
the official sponsor of this video. And
I wonder if if somebody is still invading with that password.
Rest assured, most of the things seen here can no longer be afflicted on another human being.
Oh yeah, the Horfrost Stomp was also disgustingly overpowered. There was also that there was like a little frost hatchet that had it as a built into it. And speedrunners used to run straight for it and like cheese all of the bosses
To
with
no
it.
longer
I
be
wonder
afflicted
if
on
that
another
is
human being.
also
A warm thanks to the many
nerfed
members of the
now.
Merchants Guild
I'm not
generously
sure.
funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
Man, I am so interested in what the current speedruns look like for Elden Ring, because basically every patch of Elden Ring has a different speedrunning route because the best weapons usually get nerfed. I understand it, they get nerfed because, you know, they're usually pretty overpowered. Carry and Retaliation was also bullshit in PvP, especially because sometimes the projectile was just invisible and you could do nothing about it. The Frenzied Flame. Never used... Faith is the only thing I didn't use yet. When I finish the game, I should run a Faith character and see how that feels like. Because the one weapon you get in Round Table Hall, the Paracipher or whatever it was, it's like a whip made out of fucking holy scripture, basically, of Elden Ring world, and that looks sick as fuck. I really want to run a character with that. Also, because I was trying out so many different like new things, I didn't actually try out my, you know, tried and tested build of just power stancing dual castes. I loved doing that in Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
It's definitely not viable, but it's really fun and very satisfying if you manage to kill someone in PvP.
Alright. That's all I needed, baby.
It's amazing.
Calling Hideo Miyazaki at 3 a.m. Hello? 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 Hideo Miyazaki?
I don't think that's the right number. Elden Ring is very fun. It's a great game that I recommend to anyone. You can probably get it on a very generous discount now. Damn, do I love From Software. Glory to you, Miyazaki, as you are probably personally watching this video, surely. And thank you all very much for watching, subscribing and liking, and I will see you in the next one.